What up, Dynasty players in the house? It's the Dynasty front office, part of the Dynasty Warzone network. Please like and subscribe. Five-star review, all that kind of good stuff. I'm your host, Jesse Schneeman, and I am here with the three best friends anyone could ever have, and we are going to have some amazing Dynasty talk. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back. Major Mike Casper, how you doing tonight, Mike?
What's up, Jesse? Good to be back.
Right on. And the auspicious Austin Bell on this auspicious occasion. How are you tonight, Austin?
I'm lovely, man. 2025, a couple championships in the book. How are you?
I'm tremendous. That was a pretty good intro, don't you think?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Not too many trips. I got to laugh for you, not at you this time. It was all good.
I tried pretty hard. I almost said the wrong thing twice, but I said the right thing.
Yeah, you did.
I had it in my brain. It was just the connection with the mouth.
Yeah, by that age, if you can get it out in one sentence, you're doing good.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
And the man seated to my left, my main man, Chad Mendoza. How you doing tonight, Chad?
I'm doing great, man. Happy New Year, guys. Glad to be here.
Happy New Year.
Good New Year.
So did you guys do anything fun for New Year's?
Did exactly what I wanted, but no, most people would not call it fun.
You stayed home?
Absolutely.
Watched horror
Fun
movies?
to me.
No, I actually watched my lady play The Last of Us.
Oh, you said that. I thought she was watching the series.
Nah, she was playing it.
One or two?
One.
Nice. The what is it? The remake or?
It's the remastered, yeah.
Yeah, the remastered one. Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's great.
What system was that on? Or is it?
It's on PC. Yeah, PC.
Yeah.
Mike?
I Ubered. Yeah, I already told you guys, so I just Ubered
Tell us about your best Uber of the night.
that night. Yeah, no, there's this old guy that I Ubered like 2 years ago. He like runs the rodeo in Houston or something like that. But he'll just send me a text message when them and some other old people like want to go out to dinner. He gave me $200 to drop them off. It was like, I was like, cool, man. Like probably total it was like maybe 40 to 45 minutes of driving, but $200, man, I'll take it.
That's absolutely worth it.
All right, we're not going to mention Mike's special services.
Yeah, what all you had to do for that $200? Let's just say it was hard. It was hard earned.
Keep this family friendly.
Yeah. Chad?
You know, I had to clean the heck out of my van because my kids terrorize it. And so I spent like 3 hours cleaning it, and they get inside of it, and they're like, wow, this thing is like brand new. I'm like,
Time to ruin it.
Yeah, no, this thing's like 8 years old. So I don't know what that stain is. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's like the floor in an adult movie theater.
Yeah, that's what kids are like, yeah.
Chad, did your kids like stay up till midnight, or did they not even know it's a holiday?
No, my kids and my wife fell asleep at like 10,
Nice.
9 or 9:30 or something. Something responsible. I don't know.
Right
It was yeah. Can you hear them right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Let me. Yeah. Yeah. They're excited about life right now, I think.
Coco Melon.
It's the best thing to be.
Yeah, my wife fell asleep before midnight around town, yeah. And so I watched TV in bed, and I was texting with you guys. I didn't even realize it was midnight. It was like 5 after. I was like, oh, all right. And then I knew it was midnight because I started having to, I live in the Baltimore area. So I had to start figuring out what was gunshots and what was fireworks. It was fun times.
That's
what
a
I
normal day occurrence for y'all, isn't it?
Well, no, normally it's just gunshots, but
Oh, okay, fair enough.
but on the holidays there's extra gunshots because especially 4th of July.
My wife's just big about the kissing her at midnight. She's
That's good.
That's
she's
sweet.
very into that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm glad you guys are still in love.
Yeah. Oh.
After 45 kids, it's amazing.
Yeah. We just celebrated 12 years last month. So.
Wow.
Congrats, man.
Congrats. All right, why don't you give me your trade banger of the week then, Mike? When you traded for
My trade banger. When I traded for Joey B to get the ship.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I had lost Jalen Hurts, which lost him on a couple teams. But I traded for Joey Burrow and Hollywood Brown. And I gave away Jalen Hurts, Chuba Hubbard, and Tank Dell. So
did you win the championship?
secured the ship. So
Okay.
that's all that matters. Actually, first Joe Burrow share I have now.
Really?
Which is kind of wild. Yeah.
Huh.
So
I won't
Maybe you should have been
any.
on the
That's
podcast.
why.
Yeah, you should have been on the podcast more last offseason. I think we were telling people to do that.
yeah, I'm
He can't get him from me. That's the problem.
I'm very Mahomes and Allen heavy, to be honest. So that's kind of a good problem to have.
But you love Mahomes. I mean, but you hate Mahomes.
I know. That's why you got to separate fantasy and real football, man.
That's right.
I mean, even in fantasy, though, I mean, you've been very, very cautious. And you were right. You've been very cautious about Mahomes this season.
Yeah, I was concerned. And he has kind of sucked. But I don't think I don't think I won a single championship where I have him on my team. So
I believe it.
Yeah.
I've won Mahomes share and I finished second.
Yeah, I have 0.
I also have Burr. But.
Yeah, 0 for me.
So just the price on him has always been too high. If you didn't get him as a rookie, then
I feel like it's going to be cheap this offseason though, because you just have a
maybe for the name cheap. But
I'm curious where he'll go in a startup.
I don't
think it's 2 anymore.
No, I saw a startup. I saw a startup with somebody on some like Facebook Dynasty page or something, and I think he went 10.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
That's
A lot of the 8 to like 12 range.
That's just wrong. Don't you? Yeah, come on.
I mean, it feels nasty, but for production,
I still have him 3.
Where's Stroud gonna go?
I mean, it's a startup. You're not, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not
I said he
redraft.
should have.
Like I can understand if you want to take him 10th in redraft, but that's not what we do. You know, that's not what we're even talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My money's on that offense being lights out at some point in the next 3 years, and you're operating in a 3-year window, right? At all times, basically.
Yeah.
The one thing that I really like, and I don't know how this became a Mahomes conversation, but the one thing that I really like about Mahomes at 110, 111 area is that his range of booming again, just because of the name value. Like if he does get into the top 3 of performance in any given season, like next year or whatever, then he's going right back to that ridiculous price that he was beforehand, where he's really the only guy that's going to be able to do that. Outside of, the only guy, because Josh Allen and those kind of guys are not going, outside of the top 2, top 3 picks.
We saw Lamar. Saw Lamar. Yeah, Herbert's another one, but we saw Lamar dip after that injury year. Was it 2 years ago, where he was going between that 6 to 8 range, and right now, just like you said, Chad, you see him go right back. I mean, he's 1-2 in pretty much every startup, I would assume.
Yeah. That's why I have so much Lamar. That's why I have I don't have so much Burrow, but I have 3 or 4 shares, and only because he was attainable last offseason. It's not like he was cheap by any means.
He's not going to be this offseason.
Right. When these guys, I think Chad said it really well last podcast a couple weeks ago. With these elite, when we were talking about the top 3 wide receivers being a tier, with guys that are that talented, their years are gonna vary from time to time, and sometimes they're gonna fall down a little bit, depending on the variables, line, weapons, injuries, stuff like that. I'll take my chances on someone like Mahomes with that name value rebounding, and like Chad said, his value will just explode. He hasn't even really, if he has like a 4 or 5 finish, it's the whole year is going to feel like, oh, Mahomes is back.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it'll feel like a number 1 finish, really, if he finishes 4 or 5.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about that trade, actually. Like, championship aside, like whether he won it or not, is it worth going for it at that price, Austin?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I guess it was, Hurts and Hubbard for Burrow is what you're looking at. Well, no, and Brown for Dell.
And Hollywood Brown, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where I would be, because I'm probably prefer Brown to Dell
really
in a startup right now. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to play next year. At least Hollywood has a good he's a free agent again.
That knee injury is that bad. It's like
he tore everything, like literally everything.
Yeah, and my running backs, just for context, I had Saquon, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara. I had Eckler, but he's on IR. So I just traded for Barkley too. I traded my contenders and a couple thirds for Barkley. So
really, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, the guy that I was going against was pissed. He's like, really a late first for Barkley? And Braylon Allen. Yeah.
I mean, our rankings aside, I think Dynasty nerds has Saquon like 5th among Dynasty backs, maybe 4th.
Yeah. So I was excited, but that's why I don't know. Like championship week and before was when I was like every time I had a free second, I was just scrolling leagues and looking at stuff and looking at offers and ways that I could help them and help me. So don't have a lot of picks left.
Let's talk about your trade real quick, Austin.
All right. It was, I guess, technically a failed one. But we're all in a league together. It's Mike's first commish league, and it was me against Mike in the championship. We had just had our wide receiver rankings, and Chad offered me Brian Thomas Jr. for CeeDee Lamb straight up. This was, I think, the day before the news about CeeDee not playing came out. Me as who I am in Dynasty, I couldn't do it straight. So I got into discussions with him and said, look, man, I need something. And of the pieces he had, really the only thing that of any interest was his first, which is the 106, Ladd, and Rome Odunze. So I tried to counter back with CeeDee Lamb and Chris Godwin for Brian Thomas Jr. and Rome Odunze. And his thing was, it's probably fair. It's just not something I can do right now. And I can understand that. With my roster where I'm at, he said he preferred to have his side. And I get it, but I just couldn't get rid of the top 3 elite, as we just discussed, for, in essence, nothing, much less, something to make me feel good about.
Yeah, so Chad's rebuilding. Chad, why don't you weigh in on this? But Chad's rebuilding, so Godwin doesn't help him. But go on.
Yeah, I mean, I think rebuilding is maybe a little strong, but
okay. You're kind of coming.
He was
competing
hard to make sure his pick wasn't the 106.
That's true.
Back to him.
I mean, I literally have like 4 top 12 wide receivers that are under the age of 23,
coming out of a rebuild. I'm sorry, starting to compete. First year competing. How's that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, very, very, very young team. I mean, I don't think in my starting lineup, I don't think I have anybody over the age of 24. So, super young. But, yeah, how I saw it, exactly like Austin was saying, it's one of those things where I was willing to throw Brian Thomas out there and say, if you want to make the trade, I don't think Lamb's going to, and this is before he was officially out. I just didn't think he was going to be any good this week. The injuries, they're very apparent. He's not himself. I was like, hey, man, I think you're close to beating Mike. I think this is the piece that can put you over. Let me offer it to you straight up. I'm going to win the trade, right? But you could win a championship. So that was my offer. And then when he came back with the Rome, you guys know how I feel about Rome. I think everybody knows how I feel about Rome. I think he's a really talented player. With the team and where I'm at, especially with the lack of depth, which is the weakest part of my team. Godwin, he's just going to be another kind of flippable asset if he comes back strong next year. I don't know if I want to take on that risk. And with how I feel about Rome as a player, and how I think Keenan Allen is maybe towards the back end, if not, completely done at this point, then as, the perennial player that he is or was, I think Rome steps into that role. I think he has there's a good chance he has a really good second year in that offense, especially if Caleb is able to improve. I don't want to get rid of him at this point. I feel like I'm trading him low. So the trade just didn't make any sense for me at that point.
Yeah. I see it from both sides. I know Austin wouldn't take it for just CD straight up, and for both from your side, Chad, I would have been like, yeah.
But you would have won the championship with BTJ, correct?
Correct.
Austin.
Yeah. But
how do you look at it in hindsight?
It's fine. That's Dynasty. Obviously, I want to win a championship, but I could have also made that trade and BTJ scored 3 points, and I would have hurt myself all season about making the trade. So,
Right on.
I can't look at it past. I mean, I had James Conner starting, and he scored me 3 points. So at that
I
point,
mean, let's not pretend Brian Thomas Jr. isn't wide receiver 4 in his rookie season. There is a chance.
And that's
there is a chance.
Shit at quarterback. He's had Mac Jones for a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There is a chance that he, in the next couple of years, is a more valuable asset than Lamb. So that's not completely out of the realm of possibility either.
There's a reason I ranked him as the highest out of all of us, because I agree with that. But that's not what we're looking at now. And when you make trades, you look at current values now. So I just couldn't do it straight.
All right. We got a lot of names to go over here. Championship seasons. Just call out real quick. I had three Dynasty championships, Mike.
I had 4.
Chad?
6.
Nice. Austin?
2.
All right. Multiple for everybody. All right. We're going to do top 12 Dynasty running backs. And as last episode, the game is whose list is right. So we'll all decide that by a panel of me.
Jesse's like, my list is right.
All right. So I think the way we should do this is in tiers. So we'll each throw out our first tier, however many that is, and then we'll try to make it through it that way. Does that work?
Sounds good.
So we'll just discuss each tier and their trade value. Yeah. All right, cool. I'll lead it off. My first tier is 2 players, and it's Bijan and Gibbs. To me, they're clear and away number 1. Mike, you're in agreement?
Same for me. Yeah, Bijan, then Gibbs.
All right. Austin?
Yep, the same.
Chad?
I've got 3.
Okay. Who's your third?
So I've got Gibbs first, Bijan second, Saquon third, all in a tier.
Wow. I thought I was going to be the only one with Saquon third. I thought I was the high. Really thought I was going to be the high. I was really worried about that. I was going to get killed having Saquon third.
So, Chad, in a startup, you're taking Saquon in the early second. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
I would do that too. Yeah, but I think he gives you. If we're again talking about a 3-year window, he's 20.
He'll be 28 and a half when the season starts.
I don't care.
10 months.
I don't care.
29 and 30-year-old season. I'll take that gamble.
On his day, he's the best player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. He crushed it. I mean, I don't know what to say. There's no reason. I feel like he couldn't do that again next season.
I have him in a tier of his own, but maybe that's chicken.
I mean, he just won me so many championships this season too. I'm like, it's I just think it's likely. It's so likely he does this again next year. Barring injury, right, which is always a concern with him. But man, yeah, this is coming from somebody who maybe a little bit saltiness from the beginning of the year, but I was scared of him to start the year off. So with the injuries and everything, but yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be trying to take him in the second round.
So where does everybody else have Saquon at? Can you say that now or okay? I have him at 5.
All right.
I've got a spicy name right in front of him, but
what's your first?
How I play Dynasty.
What's your first tier, Austin?
It's Bijan and Gibbs.
Okay.
And I'm totally fine in whatever order. Honestly, in a startup, I would swap them, just whichever one I felt like it that day.
I'm good with that. In fact, yeah, if I have the 1 pick and I'm able to trade down to the 2 pick, if that guy is a clear favorite, then that's fine with me.
I have Gibbs over Bijan.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine too. Yeah, I have no problem with that either.
I like Bijan better. I have him 1 just because of the volume. I mean, I understand that Gibbs is more electric and doesn't need the volume, but it just makes me feel safer and more snugly, at night. If I had to pick somebody to wrap their arms around me at night, it would be Bijan because of the volume.
How would you Bijan and Tua all fit in the same bed?
But Tua Tua's not that big.
California King.
Tua would be on top of Jesse. Yeah,
Well,
he'd just
he's
lay on
also
top of him and snuggle.
Same surface area, no problem.
That's true.
With a pillow on top, just to ensure nothing happens to his head.
Tua did me dirty though. My son really, really let me down.
Kids always disappointing you.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Man, it's terrible.
What about tier 2?
Tier 2, like I said, for me, it's just Saquon. Okay. How about you, Mike?
I had Achane and Hall.
Yeah, same. I have Hall ahead of him still, just for the pure running ability, and I don't think the Jets offense will look anything like it did this year, where he was the worst in the league in touches per game from a running back. So I'm assuming it's going to only get better, and he's still only 23, just like Achane. So I'm fine with taking him. I think he's a better player, but they are in the same tier for me.
Yeah, I like Achane as long as Tua is healthy, he crushes.
Yeah, but that's a big if.
I know, right? But
this is coming from me, and I'm spooked with this.
Maybe they'll get another backup this offseason.
The numbers without Tua are scary.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
Unstartable.
Yeah. I was worried in championship week. I mentioned it to you guys.
I benched him everywhere I could. I benched Tyreek.
Luckily. Yeah.
Chad, who's your next tier?
I've got 3 guys in my next tier, and it's Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Achane.
I'm clearly the lowest on Breece.
Interesting.
He's even below.
I think that team is just going to be completely blown up this offseason.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think my prediction of Garrett Wilson not being on the Jets next year comes to fruition.
That makes Breece scary as shit to me.
Yeah, it does make him pretty scary. Yeah.
Just feed him.
I dropped him down quite a bit on my list. The talent is tremendous, but I mean, the situation is as bad as it gets. He's on the Jets. He's literally on the Jets. So it can't get any worse. Like, by definition, your situation can't be worse than being on the Jets.
Yeah, if he's a starting running back though, and they don't have Rodgers back there throwing the ball, I mean, they're gonna have to depend on him though. I mean, he's gonna get volume.
Nah, it's just shitty.
I mean, you didn't say this about Saquon when he was on the Giants. You weren't like, "Oh, he's on the Giants, I can't use him." Like, I don't understand that narrative.
Okay, well, the Giants are bad, but they're not the Jets. There's literally nothing worse than being on the Jets. I don't
know. Until last week, it was pretty bad.
Well, I'm talking previously, but they've been equally just as bad over the last 5 years.
But what I'm saying is the decision, I don't trust them at all to make good decisions this offseason and bring in any kind of good coaching or other talent to complement him or keep the talent that they have, even though I personally don't think Garrett Wilson's going anywhere. I have no confidence in them. They're a shit show. So I have to lower Breece. I have him 9th.
Sure.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay, well, hey,
I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings and all. He's talented as AF, but I just can't in good conscience.
Do you have any shares, Jesse?
Yeah, I have like 3.
If you do, can we make a trade?
I have like 3 or 4. Yeah, if you offer me one of these guys that I have above him, probably.
Okay, sweet.
Probably.
Let's do this. What are your 8 guys? I'm just kidding.
All right. So, all right, let's get back to tier 3 versus tier 2 versus tier 1. Right. So what does it take to get from, I guess you guys all consensus have a chain tier 2, like kind of towards the top of your tier 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's it take to get from him to Gibbs?
More than I'm going to pay.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure it's probably a mid first, if not more.
Yeah, and I just don't think the points per game is that different. I'd want to pay that.
Yeah.
This is where, like, this offseason, I could tear down and get that. Like, if I would trade my Gibbs for an Achane in mid first, I would absolutely do that. But I wouldn't trade up for it.
running backs are one of those things. Like if I have any of these guys, probably in like the top 10, top 12 even, I mean, I'm not really looking to upgrade. I'm just gonna.
I'm not trading Gibbs for that. I'm not trading Gibbs for A-Chain and 106. No way. That doesn't move the needle.
Like you want more than that?
Yeah, I'm keeping Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, fine. That's fine. I mean, I would make that trade, but what I'm saying is like the actual points per game difference between the two, like giving up another valuable asset. What else can the 106 get you?
Yeah.
Right? Like not even just sticking there and drafting a player, but it can get you some serious production outside of the running back, position where, what are you? I mean, maybe getting 2 more points a game, a point a game or something, So
right, if you say it that way, like if I think of it as like the 106 as O'Marion Hampton or Quinshawn Judkins or something, then I'm like, I don't care. Like
I love that. It gives me 2 shots at running back RB.
I'd rather have Bijan or Gibbs. But because A-Chain scares me, number one, because his health, I'm worried about him getting hurt, and number two, his quarterback getting hurt. So it's a clear tear down for me. That's what worries me. That's why. So like, yeah, like one of those guys. But or Marion.
That's the thing, though, because if one goes down, the other pick might be an elite rookie. Which, right, like look at who went towards 106 last year. Like,
because as soon as Gibbs gets hurt, it's going to take plus to get A-Chain. That's just how running backs work. Yeah. So why would you not take that big plus to make your roster better? When, like you said, you're talking.
I just won championships with Gibbs, so I guess I'm biased. Seriously though, and I just had to bench A-Chain, so maybe I am like just recency bias.
I just have zero faith in the longevity of these players, like zero in their production, zero faith. So even if I have a guy like James Cook, am I willing to pay the price to get up to Jahmyr Gibbs? Absolutely not. In no scenario am I willing to do that.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to trade up for any to upgrade any RB this offseason.
Yeah, I'd rather just, as you guys know, I'd rather pay my late second to get the backup of my own guy.
Yeah, you would.
You know that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the Jesse special right there.
Now
if you've got any backups and you want a second or third round pick,
his thing.
I'm sorry, I cut you off, Mike. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying quarterback or running back. Like he'll pay that third or that fourth.
So I guess the difference doesn't really matter because you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Unless you're going down.
All right, let's talk about. All right, my next tier, my third tier is 5 players. So I really have Breece in the same tier as A-Chain. So I really wouldn't trade them for each other, to be honest with you, because the variance from season to season is way too high, and the injury rate at running back is way too high. Even though, man, we got it. It's safe to say it now, right? We're out. We made it through. Man, it was crazy healthy running back season. Yeah. I didn't want to say it all year.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept hinting at it, and Austin gave me like the crazy eyes.
It worked though. Made sure you didn't say it.
It was also a crazy wide receiver season for injuries.
Yeah, it was a bad one.
And lack of production on top of it.
Yeah. It was crazy healthy running back season.
It wasn't just wide receivers. It was just passing offenses in general, like quarterbacks, wide receivers, everybody.
Yeah.
Tight ends. Screw those guys, right?
Screw those guys. Yeah. They're not real people.
Yeah. I hate a tight end. Gosh, I hate a tight end.
I cleaned up.
Yeah.
I did fine. As long as you know what to expect. As long as you understand that your 5 for 60 gets you 13 to 15 points. That's what the position is.
Unless the problem is picking who's going to give you 5 for 60. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, who saw Johnny? Is Johnny actually better than Pitts now that we've seen Johnny go to Miami and just crush?
Y'all, I had a team where I had Johnny on the bench all season for Kelsey because I just couldn't make the switch. And in the championship game, I made the switch for Johnny. Yeah. Kelsey outscored him, but I outlasted it and I still won anyway. But
I
that was
didn't
like the
Johnny for,
first
like,
thing
I
that
had
happened
I
in
had the same
championship
thing.
week.
I had the same
Kelsey's-
thing, except it was like 3 weeks early. I was like, okay, I guess Johnny's for real, and he kept doing it.
Yeah.
So,
As long as he keeps doing it, why would you not just leave him in there?
my tier 3: Saquon, JT, Kyron, and McCaffrey.
Oh, McCaffrey, huh?
Yeah,
You're probably
I just-
You're definitely the high guy on him.
Yeah, he's
I think-
16 for me.
oh,
Oof.
yeah. Ooh. I just
10.
think we forget how elite he is.
Yeah, everybody. I'm with you, Mike. That's why I still have him 10. Like I still have him as a top guy.
Yeah, so he's at 8 for me overall.
Yeah, I'm just
He's-
not drafting him, so that's
Yeah.
why.
He's 15
That's-
for me, so I'm right there with you, Austin.
And in a startup, I'm just not touching him because he's going to go higher than I'm comfortable. And it's the same thing with Saquon. Like in production on my team, sure, Saquon at 3 feels just fine. But in a startup, there's no chance in hell I'm taking Saquon above A-Chain or Hall. And that's why I have him lower. Like I get how y'all do it, like how you're viewing it, and agree. But with McCaffrey, with even, I mean, kind of even Jacobs, but he's at least 26 at the moment. Like and when I'm in a startup, I'm going to take the guy that I get an extra year or 2 out if the production's similar.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I just if it's probably a big if, but if CMC returns to that same form and you get 2 more years, it's worth what 10th running back? What's that, like a 5th round pick, 6th round pick?
Depends on the league, but somewhere between 4 and 6, yeah.
I'm not ready to believe that all these guys that are like, elite we're looking at Derrick Henry's,
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to believe that.
I agree.
McCaffrey's 28.
He'll be 29 when the season starts.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's ugly on Sleeper when that right beside that name and it says 29. People just hate that.
Yeah. It's not outrageous to think you can get a couple elite seasons out of him.
Yeah.
For that, I'd rather get Derrick Henry.
Yep. Or Mixon.
Yeah, or Mixon.
Well, I'd rather have Jacobs.
Yeah,
but he's
of course.
he's
But
2 years younger than McCaffrey.
I think you got to pay up. I think you got to pay up on top of McCaffrey to get Jacobs at this point.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jacobs is my 10. That's like the tier down for me, and CMC is 11. My bad. I misspoke. Yeah, but as far as tier 3 goes, to me, it's a huge tier. Chain, JT, Cook, Kyron, and Brees. I'll take any of those guys. I like them all. I think they're all in pretty good situations. They're all good backs, and they're all fairly young. They're all young. I guess JT's probably the oldest, but he just won people championships.
He's actually younger than Cook.
Is he?
Yeah, and Jacobs.
Yeah, he came out.
He just turned 25, this month.
Well, I knew he was younger than Jacobs. Jacobs been around for a while.
Yeah,
Cooks is 26.
Cook is 25. He's 3 months older than
Cook
JT.
is 25. I definitely thought he was 24. So COVID made everything funky.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys really make a strong argument of one guy over the other in that tier though that I just mentioned?
No, I mean,
I'll just admit or did you say Kyron? Sorry.
Yeah, Kyron's
he did.
in there.
Yeah, that's the one that surprised the heck out of me. And I know Chad was all about Kyron. I really thought Corum would get more run, and they just didn't.
I assumed he would get hurt. I assumed half of these guys would get hurt, and it really never happened.
Right. I mean, we'll say, right? I traded Chad's 106 in a second for it, and I felt that was a bit of an overpay, but he just delivers every week.
Yeah.
And is super consistent, never busts almost.
Wait, what did you pay for him?
The 106 and a 26.
It's not an overpay. I think Chad and I were going to make that deal in a one running back league.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair, and I actually think it's probably a little bit of an underpay because it's points per carry.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I just did it because of my roster, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean,
well, we didn't do it because I didn't make it through that round, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the trade I made with Mike.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, you made that trade with Mike.
That was in Einstein's, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair shit.
Won the
actually.
ship, so yeah.
Right on. So, I mean, is that just straight up fair for any of those guys? 106.
Sure. I mean, it's up to you, I guess. I mean, I don't, whichever your preference is, I'm probably going to take the running back over the single pick in most situations. But
Yeah,
106 and a third.
Probably the second is right around there. That's
okay. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
I have a name that none of y'all have in tier 3.
I haven't given mine.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
go ahead,
neither.
Chad.
I haven't either.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. You said none of y'all have.
okay.
You don't know.
I'm going first, so that way I can say the name. Because hopefully,
it probably is the same guy.
So at 5, I have Bucky Irvin.
Yeah, that's what I got.
And then I have Saquon and then JT in the tier together. The dude's just too good.
Yeah.
I've looked. The running back room is going to stay the same, barring they just bring in an RB4, which makes 0 sense. All the running backs are there next year. I mean, he's just good, plain and simple. He's leading them in touches, but they're not having to kill him because they do have 2 other capable guys.
Yeah.
And unlike all these other guys that are in the next, 8 to 10 spots, he's 22 years old. So I'll take that over any of the 25s, 26s, 28s. And I'll take that when I'm in my startup.
What'd you pay for him? Rookie pick wise.
4, probably. 3.
104?
3 or 4. Yeah.
Wow.
Because after Genty and McMillan, I'd probably rather take Bucky over any of the other pieces.
What if Travis Hunter just decides to be a wide receiver?
That's the other name. That's kind of why I said 3 or 4. That was exactly the reason.
Okay, cool.
Because personally, he's better at corner. So I want him to be personally want him to be a corner mainly. But the money's at receiver, so I couldn't knock him at all if he does go to receiver.
Sorry, I just thought about our IDP league. If he plays ways,
he's going to be 101.
Crazy.
Absolutely. He should be 101 in any IDP league, assuming he comes out and says, I'm going to play some of both ways.
He wants to. I think he's trying to get guarantees.
That would be crazy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's gonna be a lot of people going to check their league rules because I'm in some non-IDP leagues that have points for tackles and kind of shit just laid out there, and people don't realize it.
Yeah,
so
I've seen that before.
Every league I have that's not IDP does reward tackles.
Wow.
So
interesting.
Same thing.
So yeah, but I will say if he declares it just a wide receiver, he's my wide receiver 1 in the class.
I'm fine with that. I don't have a
probably my 102. But you really you like well, this is not the time, but you like Tet that much more than Burden?
No, I mean I think Tet has a wider range of successful outcomes. I think Burden needs to be in a good offense to be put in that ideally that Rashee Rice role.
Mm-hmm.
I think in that he would be absolutely dominant.
Yeah,
like a better Rashee Rice, who was already used as a dynasty wide receiver 1.
Rashee Rice wasn't even used that way in college, though. It's weird. Yeah, Tet needs the right quarterback though, because you need a quarterback to be able to.
You're muted, Chad, but
Tet's my wide receiver 1, no matter what anybody else does in this class.
I'm fine.
He needs a quarterback that'll trust him to throw it up.
He gets open. He doesn't need to get thrown open. He gets.
I mean, I can't argue with that. He does get some interesting separation, but I still think he lacks a little polish. But we'll get into this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, as you probably guessed it, my next tier starts off with Bucky Irving, and then I've got 2 other guys in there, which are Jonathan Taylor and James Cook.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yep.
I mean, I honestly was. I guess I was a little scared, a little chicken shit. I have Irving 12 because, and I thought I was kind of I wonder if they're gonna fight this.
I had him 11.
Too many other running backs. They're probably going to lose their offensive coordinator. All this kind of stuff. I don't really care. I love him. Where did you say you have him, Mike?
I had him at 11.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we all like him.
At running back, I just watch him play. It's the same thing I watched. I watched Kyron last year, and I was like, no, this guy's just good. He's just really, really, really good. I watched Bucky Irving. He's just really, really, really good. Like so much better than anybody else on that team at running back. It's not. It's so obvious and apparent. I mean, I would hope that the coaching staff can see that, I mean, from what we've seen this season, they do see it. So
yeah, they said it too. I think before the last game, and Bucky got like all the run. So,
well, he's expensive now. So, good luck getting him. But I think I'll approach their backfield as I'm going to take the cheapest guy, which is Sean Tucker.
So,
but I already have
you don't want to start a running back from there. You just don't want to start a running back from there, is what you're saying.
Well, they're like Jesse. Here's Bucky Irving. He's like, nah, I'll take Sean Tucker. Give me the cheapest guy.
I mean, it costs like I'm paying a third or fourth for Tucker. I just think that we're not going to see all this healthiness out of running backs again next year. Just because it happened this year doesn't mean it's going to happen
now.
Next year,
because you said that, that's what's going to happen.
Thanks, Jesse.
So now, when we know in October, we know who to blame. Everybody, front office listeners, you hear this? Send all your hate to Jesse,
and I will send you my Sean Tucker chairs for firsts. All right, what's your next tier, Chad?
So my next tier, and I think this might be a little controversial here, but I've got four guys in this next tier. I've got Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown.
Oh,
yep. Josh Jacobs and Tyrone Tracy.
What's Tracy at? What number is that?
That is 13.
Okay.
Oh, you put Tracy at 13. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I have Ken Walker at 13 because Austin told me I wasn't allowed to combine him into one person with Zach Charbonnet.
Unfortunately, that is true. You cannot draft both at the same time.
So I had.
But you can pay a second for him, and Jesse will do that.
Yes, that's true. If I have Ken Walker, of course I will. But yeah, I absolutely had to lower him because in a year of healthy running backs, he wasn't one of them. So, and also,
which means he'll be healthy next year.
Yeah, so. Maybe, but he hasn't been yet. So, and also, you can't just assume that Seattle's offensive line is going to get better. It was not good this year. So, I have to ding him for that as well. So
Charbonnet looked pretty decent most weeks.
Yeah, he did, especially when
he had a dud. He had a dud or two. When I had started him, it sucked.
So it's your fault again, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
I had James Cook, then Walker, then Irving, then Jacobs.
All right,
round out my top 12.
Okay.
I think Irving should be higher now. But.
I have CMC in my top 12 and not Ken Walker. It's kind of the only difference in the names for me. Mike, you had CMC, so who do you not have in your top 12 that everybody else does?
I definitely don't have Chase Brown. That's one that kind of scares the crap out of me.
Oh, no, none of us do, right?
No, Chad does.
I do.
Chad just said he does.
Oh, you did say Chase Brown. Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't have Tracy, but I would put Tracy right in the next tier outside of 12.
He's like probably 15 for me. Yeah. Chad, defend yourself on Chase Brown. Somebody that could get drafted over this year.
He just looks good. Just looks like a good player. So, I mean, yeah, he could get drafted over, but anybody in this range, I mean, there's a ton of risk with him. Outside of Jacobs, which I think is other than him being 26, I mean, Jacobs looks great, right? So, yeah. I mean, I'd rather have him than any of those other guys. Maybe he should be in a tier by himself for me. But there's, Kenneth Walker, injuries, Tyrone Tracy, Giants are a bad football team. Chase Brown could get drafted over, but if he doesn't, I mean, he could be another RB1 again. I mean, it's one of those things where, I just think he looks like a pretty good football player.
Yeah, if he doesn't get drafted over, he's the RB1 on,
Oh yeah, it's a great call if he doesn't get drafted over.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, finish out your list for us, Austin.
I have Cook, and then Jacobs, and then Kyron, and Walker at 11, and Tracy at 12.
So
you got Tracy ahead of me?
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy.
I thought you liked him.
I do like him.
Why do you hate Kyron Tracy?
Yeah, I know, right? Actually, you know what? I made a mistake. He's actually 2. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I thought. Yeah. I don't know.
I get
don't
it.
know what I was.
You were just writing fast. I get it.
Yeah. Couldn't read my own handwriting.
So, let's talk some values. What was it? What's it take to get Jacobs? I think 106 is very fair for Jacobs.
Yeah, as a mid first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh yeah, Mike. You think that's fair? Even though you turn me down for it constantly the entire season.
I did, and my reasoning was the difference in points per game from the person I was starting there.
Who was that?
Varied from week to week.
And your reasoning
I know
was
that
wrong.
I know that guy.
Yeah. So it was like it would be like Pollard or something. Like
varied from week to week was putting up a lot of production this year.
Yeah, I know him.
Hey, I made it to the semis. I won third. I won third place.
Jacobs
on a very, very old roster.
If I'm not mistaken, the player I traded Jacobs to did win the championship.
Oh, I don't know. Did they?
No, he lost the first round to me.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I made that up just to make Mike look bad. You're supposed to play along.
Well, I had to think about who it was because I was like, hold on. Nah, he lost to me.
Yeah, right on. All right, so that's a personal victory right there. Even though I didn't get the pick, I got Mike to admit that I should have.
Hey, I'm just happy to have 3 firsts in a league where I finished third place.
You're set up really well.
I've got like 12.
Other than the age,
I've got 12 picks. Well, that's why I was not.
Yeah,
and the fact that making it to the semis doesn't win anything, and so it's not even in the money.
He got his money.
Yeah, I did. I got my money. I'm playing for free next year.
Oh, you won in the semis.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, I won in third
won
place.
the third place game. Okay.
Yeah. Like I wasn't planning on competing in that league anyways. And that was why I made a lot of the trades I did, because I traded CMC and then I traded Cook and I was trading some younger pieces, but I had people that kept winning. So
I agree with Jamie's statement. Jacobs being worth the 105, 106, but especially now, nobody's going to make that trade.
Nope.
Because you're not scoring points for another, unfortunately, 9 months.
So crazy the season's over.
Yeah, I know. So nobody's going to do that.
I mean, yes, you're right, but he was worth that last week at this time.
Yeah, that's fine.
and I think going into the season, if you need an RB2, or an RB1, you're a 26 first and a second, I think would be reasonable.
Yeah, I mean,
but we're about to get into. You're not allowed to sell your veteran season because it's rookie fever.
It gets heavy and hard here.
Rookie fever, boys.
That's what she said.
Yeah, thank you. I about said it myself, so thank you.
All right, so I mean, are we pretty good on the value for these guys?
I got a question for Chad. Why Chase Brown over Hubbard? 4 months difference in age, or 6 months, whatever, and similar situations this year, but one should likely be much clearer next year. Is just Brown better? Is that what your statement is there, or is it?
I think he's a better player, if I'm being completely honest. Okay. I'm not super high on Chuba Hubbard as a player. I do love that he got the contract. So I got Chuba's like the first guy in my next tier. But there's not really much separating them. Like if I have Chuba Hubbard, I'm not really looking like, oh, let me go see what I can get for on top to get Chase Brown. Like that's not.
Yeah,
I'm just calling it a day and sticking with that guy.
I'm just curious, like why you would put Brown in the top 12 and not.
It's mostly just the team, right? Like
okay,
I think that
I can get behind. Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly the team. Like if Chuba Hubbard played for the Bengals, then I'd be like, okay,
that's
I'd
fair.
have Chuba ahead of him. Well, it's the same reason I don't have Tracy ahead of him. Like I think Tracy's a better player than Chase Brown personally. I would take if Tracy was on the Bengals, I'd take him ahead of Chase Brown. But he's not. He's on the Giants. So
that's fair.
We do know, like a positive for Chuba is we know he's not getting drafted over.
Yeah, they made day 3 but that's it.
Right. They may draft somebody to help him, but not to take his job.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I guess my last question on this subject would be, Austin, where would you have Genty?
5.
5. Exactly.
Yeah. After the big 4 for me. And I'm fine if you want to argue at 3. Like, I have no problem with that. Totally. That's fine. It's a little scary right now because it's January and he doesn't get drafted till May and doesn't play till September, but
he
I'm
could
fine
be
if you want to make that argument.
He could be Where do you want him to go?
RB1 this time next year.
Honestly, I haven't even looked at who's going to be leaving and what, but I'm not sure.
Denver, and he just stays a Bronco.
Mike, my question for you is, do you know who Ashton Genty is?
I do, actually. I do, trust me, yeah.
Where would you have him on this list?
I'd probably have him at 5 or 6.
Chad?
4.
Okay.
So I think for y'all, that means you would not trade Saquon for the 101. That's what y'all are saying, correct?
If I have a competing roster, I wouldn't. No.
Right. That's exactly the question I asked myself when I made the list. Okay. Would I trade Saquon for 101?
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm trying to win, and Saquon's one of those players where, I mean, you're not matching his production with any draft pick you get. 99 times out of 100. So probably more than that, 999 times out of 1,000, probably. So, I'm just going to go Saquon and just go win another championship.
Yeah. We'll have those discussions in the offseason, but I think it's a very dangerous thought process.
I mean, I won 6 championships this year, so.
I mean, that's sick, but you happen to have a healthy 27-year-old running back. What happens when it's an injured 28-year-old running back?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's not a rule, right? Like, you don't go and say, well, every 27-year-old running back, he is the exception.
Of course, but I'm talking about him. He'll be a 28-year-old running back. What if he does his normal high ankle sprain in week 2? And I mean, it's just so risky. That 28-year-old guy.
And this is me, and I believe this for not just me, but for you guys as well. So I'm not just saying this about me, but and Jesse knows I say this all the time. I think I'm good enough of a dynasty player to recover from those kind of mistakes if I'm living by an exception. So if I keep Saquon on a roster and he goes down, I can recover from that. I'm perfectly fine with that. If I was a bad dynasty player, then I'd be afraid to make a move like that.
Because I was going to say I had CMC probably in 7 or 8 leagues to start the season. And the fact that all of them still made the championship, I had, 10 plus in the semis, played for 6 championships. Like, as long as you're able to make moves at the right time for it.
As long as you're not making that your rule, as long as you're not saying, you know what, I don't care about running back age. I'm just going to go with it. Right. And just that's the rule you live by. As long as you're not doing that and you're saying, okay, this is a calculated move. I think I can win the championship this next season here. If things change, if he gets injured, do I believe that I'm good enough or my league is active enough for me to make recovery moves? And I think I am, and most leagues I play in, they are. So that's how I choose to play.
101, Genty or Brian Thomas Jr.?
That's tough.
Austin looks like you're mad at me, but
no, I'm actually reading it. I was trying to think of you're up top on my screen.
I think probably Brian Thomas.
Yeah. Brian Thomas pretty easily for me.
Because you just know.
Wow, so far that young man has come.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. All right. We got a few minutes left, Austin. Yeah. Let's take it to our listener league and the championship.
Let's do it. We had a close one. It was a really good battle. We had our man Mike in the championship against our European brother and Daz. And Daz took it home for Division 1, just as me and Chad called the whole season.
Well, let's break it down a little bit. So Sunday Night Football, I was behind. I had Jane Daniels, though, and Bijan put me up by 35. And then he had Garindo and Jamison Williams left. And
Ouch.
Jameson Williams got that crazy flip play or whatever. I didn't actually watch it, but Jameson got 2 TDs, and then Grando had a decent night, so I lost by just under 8 points or 7 points. Yeah. So it was good though.
Division I champions is what I'm hearing.
I started Aaron Rodgers over Penix, and that is what cost me 0.4 from Aaron there.
I can't blame you for that.
That piece of shit. Yeah, I thought it's funny. I don't know if you saw the stat, but 4 quarterbacks played in that game, and 3 of them threw touchdowns, and none of them were Rodgers.
Really?
Tyrod threw a touchdown, Trubisky threw a touchdown, and Josh Allen threw a touchdown.
So did they? Oh yeah. So did Aaron Rodgers quote unquote get hurt, or did they bench him?
No, they benched him for like the whole 4th quarter.
Finally got Garrett Wilson involved.
Yeah, Tyrod led him on 2 touchdowns, didn't he? Didn't he get 2 touchdowns? Yes.
All right, Austin, give us the rundown.
Which rundown? The league rundown?
Yeah, just give us the final score of the championship, who the champion is.
190.11 for Daz to 183.81 for my man Mike. And then the semis was, I pressed the wrong button. All right, semis was Storm Blessed, 209.
No,
Dave Donaldson.
Every game.
I was just doing the semi matchup.
Oh, okay. Is that you mean the third place?
Yeah, that's the third place game. And yeah, he won 209 to 128 for Dave Donaldson.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So Donaldson's out of the money.
That is correct. And unfortunately, that means Division II low man on the poll was Guzzy, and he'll be saying goodbye to us this season, and we'll be bringing somebody else in.
Yeah, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Actually, I was really pulling for you, Mike or Nick. Probably the nicest guy in the entire league. Even though for a pack of sharks like this, pretty nice guys.
Yeah, why do you hate CS Stroud?
Yeah, what's up?
Saying you wanted him to get booted out?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons.
Fan, I would like to get rid of the Chiefs.
There's a lot of reasons.
That's my goal.
I hate Chris Stroud. I love him to death, but when it comes to Dynasty and fantasy, he knows why. He knows exactly why. Just ask him about Zamir White.
Yeah, his name in the league is Chief Dick.
Because I called him Chief Dick like right before we started, or right when we started it, and he's kept it. So that was awesome. Jamie in the chat says he wants in. So we'll add to the pool, Jamie. Yeah, we'll do a raffle or something.
Jamie, if on Sleeper, my screen name is Herbalist. So Herbalist at Herbalist. So just DM me. So I have your info. We're not choosing someone right now. That's going to be a contest throughout the offseason. But DM me so that I can get your name into the contest, and hopefully we get you in next year.
We just got to do it before the rookie draft, right? So
yes,
right before the rookie draft. So yeah, I guess we'll be running this up till April. So through all our rookie content, we'll be running the contest for the open spot in the listener league.
Cool.
Yeah,
just want to say again, Division I won first and third place, just in case y'all were wondering.
Did you?
And if we were,
why are you taking pride in that, Austin?
If we were playing by standings, our Division 1 was so much harder to play in.
Yeah,
much harder to play in. I think what is it like? Our 4th place team would have came in 2nd or something like that.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Looking at it,
division.
I mean, the fact that I was 14-14 on the season and barely lost in the championship was that's kind of a miracle. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you guys had the easy route there in Division 2.
I had crap at quarterback, so.
Jamie, I got you. Big James. Okay. All right. So I got your info, Jamie. You're definitely in the contest for sure. Oh, and
Donaldson's here. You missed us talking crap about you, Dave. Sorry. About your misfortunes in the 3rd place game.
Yeah, finished out of the money. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, Dave. All right, gentlemen. Anything else? Resolutions real quick for the new year?
I'm trying to lose 25 pounds. Again, fat as fuck.
Yeah, you're dad bod. How can you call yourself a major in the U.S. Army? Jesus.
I know. Yeah, it's honestly kind of embarrassing. So I have been I've gone for 3 mile runs the past couple weeks or past couple days. Not weeks, obviously, but yeah. So,
If you need a personal chef, I don't come cheap, but I'm very good.
gosh, I wish I had one. That would be.
And you'd have to ship all your meals across the country. So
I could afford.
Oh
it.
no, he's moving me out to Texas. I'm out.
Oh, gotcha.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Austin, anything?
I don't think so. Nothing. I don't.
We're gonna do Dynasty resolutions next week. But Chad, anything?
No, my resolution is to be exactly the same that I was in 2024. No changes at all. No improvements.
And I veto to make it not the same. We need a better Chad out here.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a few minutes late, Chad. That's what we need.
We'll work on it.
My wife tells me what I'm doing for a resolution every year, so we are eating out more this year.
Oh,
That's what she said.
She didn't say I am.
She did say that to you, did she?
This has been the front office.